Beloved one, receive these words as a living breath spoken especially for you, centered on your daughter. What awaits tomorrow is not an ordinary sunrise passing unnoticed into routine. It is the quiet yet powerful turning of a chapter, already inscribed by heaven's hand. Even if your mind has not fully grasped it, your heart has been leaning toward this precise moment for far longer than you realize. Nothing about this is accidental or misplaced. What is unfolding follows a sacred alignment, an intentional rhythm set in motion long ago. The Creator has already spoken of such moments, declaring intentions of flourishing rather than harm, intentions filled with promise, vision, and a future shaped by hope. Right now, something holy is encircling your daughter. An encounter from the unseen is preparing to break into your life with the force of lightning tearing open the sky. This is not merely about what will happen tomorrow, but about the unfolding of who she is becoming. She carries a role that unlocks what must come next. The heavens have marked this season as hers, and because your lives are bound together by spirit, purpose, and a lineage shaped by obedience, your own direction is shifting alongside hers. This is not a summons into fear, but an invitation into trust. The weight of past struggles cannot compare to the radiance that is about to be revealed. What is preparing to emerge holds more glory than you ever imagined you could hold. Soon, clarity will arrive, and you will recognize that it was always written this way. Remain present with these words until they settle fully within you, because even now, movement is happening beyond what eyes can see. As you receive this, allow your heart to lift, and from that place, release your deepest longing into the world with intention and faith. This is a moment where prayer takes form, where spoken hope releases the very breath of heaven. When a desire is declared with courage and love, it finds its footing in reality, and light begins to trace your path forward. What begins now is the rising tide of answered prayers. Chosen one, step into this flow and align yourself with it. Your daughter did not arrive on this earth by chance, nor was her birth placed randomly in time, location, or family. She is not the result of coincidence, but the embodiment of an eternal design. Through you, she was selected for this generation, carrying within her a fire that is fierce, a purity that is unmistakable, and a holiness that cannot be hidden. You have sensed it from the beginning. You have heard it in her voice, seen it in her resilience, and felt it in the way she loves without needing explanation. Perhaps others have misunderstood her, labeling her as too intense, too different, or too sensitive. They cannot perceive what heaven has planted within her. Her spirit resonates with eternity, attuned to depths others cannot reach. There are wonders prepared beyond what sight has seen, beyond what sound has carried. This is why tomorrow carries such weight, because a spiritual threshold stands before her, and when she crosses it, the ripple will touch you as well. Something is being imparted into her inner being, a realignment that awakens identity, clarity, and purpose. And you are not merely observing this from a distance. You are woven into it. You are the bridge crafted by God between what has been and what is about to be. Every prayer you whispered, every tear you shed in silence, every sacrifice made without recognition has been seen. None of it was wasted. They were seeds planted in faith, and now those seeds are opening into the destiny written over her life. What is emerging carries intention. It is the very shift your soul has longed for. Even during seasons when understanding felt out of reach and promises seemed delayed, vision often waits for its appointed moment. And though it may appear to linger, it never arrives late. That moment has arrived. There were days filled with worry and nights heavy with concern. Moments when you felt helpless watching. Her face struggles you could not fight for her. Forces tried to dim her brilliance, mute her voice, and twist her truth. Yet every quiet prayer, every tear that fell unseen, every plea you believed went unheard was gathered and preserved. None of it vanished. Every word you lifted toward heaven on her behalf remains alive and active now. Timing had to come into alignment not only for her, but for you as well. She is stepping through a door reserved for divine invitation, a sacred assignment not meant for everyone. When her purpose ignites, the transformation will not stop with her life alone. It will echo through generations. This is larger than a single moment. It is legacy unfolding, and it begins with your willingness to trust beyond what you can currently see. You will notice changes. Her words will carry new authority. Her thoughts will gain clarity. Courage will rise within her spirit. Do not confuse this awakening with defiance. It is revelation. A veil is lifting, and she is remembering her true nature, set apart before breath ever entered her lungs. As remembrance takes hold, healing will quicken. Peace will steady her mind. Forgotten dreams will stir awake, and her God-given authority will shine without apology. You will witness with your own eyes the fulfillment of prayers you once carried quietly, To the outside world, tomorrow may appear ordinary, but in the realm of the spirit, it is a sacred turning. Speak blessing over her life. Distance does not weaken your voice, nor silence diminish its power. Words carry life, and when spoken in alignment with heaven, they shape reality. Understand this deeply. Some of the struggles you faced recently were never solely about you. The heaviness, the confusion, the resistance were attempts to hinder her before her appointed time. But you remained standing. You continued to believe. And now heaven responds. You are more than a parent. You are a guardian of legacy, a protector in the spirit, a keeper of generational gates. With heaven's authority surrounding you, you are guiding her into her next season with a strength you may not have known you possessed. Not because of rank or recognition, but because of the depth of your heart. You were appointed for this moment. You were chosen as the vessel through which she entered this world. And that choice was intentional. You were known, set apart, and prepared. And now the child who came through you is about to reveal why she was sent. A turning has already arrived, and with the coming dawn it will open wide. Your willingness to walk in alignment has set unseen forces into motion. And now heaven is arranging what the natural world has not yet perceived. Prepare yourself, because what stands ahead will not resemble what stands behind. The unseen realm is already rejoicing. And even if your vision has not yet caught up, the very air around you is charged with sacred expectancy. There are wonders prepared beyond sight, beyond sound, beyond the limits of human imagining, reserved for those whose hearts remain anchored in love and trust. At the heart of this movement stands your daughter. These words are not symbolic embellishment, nor are they spoken for effect. They carry truth and weight. She bears a promise that did not begin with her birth, a vow ancient in its origin, guarded through generations, now stepping into its season of bloom. The world may overlook her depth or misread her nature, but heaven has never withdrawn its attention. What arrives tomorrow is not simply another date on the calendar. It is the unveiling of what was hidden, the loosening of what was bound, the release of something timeless. She is more than the child you raised. She is a living witness to faithfulness, a carrier of covenant woven into flesh and breath. Life has attempted to press her beneath layers of pain, uncertainty, rejection, and fear. Yet what God plants cannot be extinguished. The divine seed within her is pushing through the soil, not because she is without flaw, but because she has been appointed. What was chosen by heaven is designed to bear fruit in its season. Her inner being resonates at a depth that stirs remembrance in others, awakening parts of them long forgotten. That resonance is why opposition has pursued her with such intensity. The adversary recognized the light before she did, but failed to account for your presence, your protection, your steadfast faith, your refusal to step out of alignment. You remained firm, and that steadfastness has been seen. Now heaven prepares to honor it. You may still notice the marks of conflict, traces of battles she never sought, wounds formed too early and carried too long. Yet those marks are not evidence of failure. They are sacred testimony. They speak of endurance, of survival, of grace holding firm. She will not conceal them. She will rise through them, teach from them, and breathe renewal into spaces once marked by pain. Her ascent is not solely for her own restoration, but for every woman who has ever questioned her value, every heart that has wondered if it was enough. She rises carrying your imprint within her, your resilience in her frame, your fire in her spirit, your wisdom quietly guiding her steps. What is unfolding is not minor or temporary. It carries weight beyond this moment. Her decisions now resonate with divine counsel. She is awakening not through borrowed understanding, but through revelation poured directly into her spirit. Pay attention, for the signs may arrive softly. You may notice courage surfacing where hesitation once lived, a calm settling where anxiety once ruled, insight emerging far beyond what years alone could teach. Do not dismiss these moments. They are not random. They are confirmations. Her soul is recalling why it was sent. The coverings of fear, doubt, and enforced silence are loosening their grip. This is why the coming day holds such significance. It marks the end of an unspoken bondage, the breaking of a hidden pattern, the opening of a prophetic chapter long awaited. You are not standing on the sidelines of this transformation. You are woven into it. The prayers you released in solitude are now stepping into visibility. What was sown through tears is beginning to yield joy. The evidence is already emerging. Even if she does not articulate it, her spirit recognizes that your covering has been her anchor. It steadied her through storms unseen by others, held her when the weight felt unbearable. Now the waters are settling, not because the world has suddenly become gentle, but because she is becoming stronger than the turbulence around her. Her gifts are preparing to unfold, gifts of insight, compassion, discernment, and strength. They will surface through moments of connection, through unexpected encounters, through dreams that linger upon waking. Remain open, even if her journey unfolds differently than you once envisioned. The ways of heaven often stretch beyond human expectation. Do not retreat from the unfamiliar. Lean into the unfolding. Awakening often draws resistance, yet pressure is evidence of purpose. Turbulence signals ascent. She is not delicate. She has been shaped by fire, strengthened through trial, empowered by grace. The same presence that sustained you now rests upon her. What once could not break you has become the foundation upon which she now stands. A new generation is rising, and it is rising swiftly. Tomorrow does not shift because circumstances suddenly submit. It shifts because her vision is opening. For the sacred promise you have carried has arrived at its appointed breath of time, because the veil has quietly fallen away, and the hour has come for her to emerge, from concealment into the radiance prepared for her by God. The promise was never meant to stop with you alone, but to flow through your children and even reach those who once felt distant, both in place and in spirit. The child you once held before heaven and whispered prayers now bears the living flame within her own hands. Do not allow anyone to shrink this moment or dismiss it as chance. If your spirit trembles as these words settle in, it is because eternity is drawing near. God did not simply entrust you with a daughter. He entrusted you with a living message, a reflection of His mercy, and the beginning of a movement now unfolding. She is stepping into spaces, encounters, and revelations that stretch far beyond what you could have imagined, not for her own elevation, but for divine purpose. You were formed to lift her, and she was formed to bring transformation, and now the appointed hour has arrived. It may announce itself softly or arrive with undeniable force, but it will arrive. Remain close to her in spirit. Speak life over her continually. Call her back to truth when the world attempts to rename her. Because you once said yes to God, she is now stepping into her own yes. These are the moments that resist explanation, moments meant to be felt rather than understood. Tomorrow carries that weight. You will sense the shift within before your thoughts can organize it. A sacred stillness will settle, a gentle knowing that something eternal has moved. The world may appear unchanged, yet for you and your daughter, nothing will ever be the same again. This is destiny aligning with divine timing. This is why you have felt an inner stirring without words, why this message reaches you now. She is entering a spiritual resonance few are ever invited into, and her life will no longer carry the shape of the ordinary. The alignment of her inner being, the opening of her purpose, the return of her authentic voice are taking place now in the unseen space, where faith does its deepest work. This journey is not measured by what the eyes can see, but by trust anchored beyond sight. It is not about performance, applause, or recognition. It is about her becoming the woman God envisioned before the world tried to redefine her. She does not need the approval of crowds. She needs only your agreement, because that agreement anchors her soul. You are not meant to repair her or control her path. You are meant to witness her, to recognize the moments when her spirit touches new heights, even when others overlook it. You have already seen glimpses, haven't you? In the depth carried in her gaze, in the way her presence quietly shifts a space, in the compassion that flows from her without instruction. These are not simple characteristics. They are sacred markers. Tomorrow does not signify a single event, but the beginning of an unraveling, the loosening of every false name, every limiting belief, every chain that once tried to hold her. For too long, she may have carried roles that were never hers to wear, roles shaped by fear, pain, or expectation. Now heaven grants her permission to lay them down. She is being reminded that she is greater than her past, larger than opinions, and stronger than her doubts. And you, chosen one, are woven deeply into this unfolding because she carries not only your blood, but your prayers, your obedience, your perseverance. Every time you chose to rise instead of surrender, you cleared space for her future. Every moment you chose integrity over compromise, seeds were planted that are now breaking into bloom. The season of weariness has ended, because the time of harvest has arrived. There is a version of your daughter she has not yet fully encountered, the one who understands her authority, who walks with steady confidence, who no longer waits for permission but moves by revelation. That version is whole, courageous, and unstoppable. As she steps into that becoming, the atmosphere around her must respond. Old connections will dissolve. Fears will loosen their grip. False identities will fall away. This is not loss or destruction. It is sacred rebuilding. God is shaping her from truth rather than trauma. Within this rebuilding lives a calling far larger than herself. She will not only transform her own life, but become a guiding light for others. Her voice will offer direction. Her story will bring healing. She was never meant to disappear into the background. Leadership was always written into her spirit, and you were always chosen to prepare her for this unfolding. Even in seasons when you felt unprepared or believed you were failing, the truth remained that you were faithful. Faithful parents nurture chosen children. It has never been about flawlessness, but about presence, about carrying responsibility even when strength felt thin. Because of that faithfulness, the generational promise has found its expression in her life. What she carries from you is not merely lineage, but strength, belief, and resilience shaped through love chosen again and again. As she steps into this divine elevation, your role becomes one of spiritual attentiveness. There may be moments when words escape her, when silence replaces explanation, when distance appears where closeness once lived. Do not be afraid. These are signs of expansion, evidence of God reshaping her inner world. Her soul is receiving something new, her identity being reordered by heaven's hand. You do not always need answers. Sometimes quiet presence speaks more powerfully than any sermon. She will begin to move differently in spirit, in purpose, in grace. Her decisions will carry greater weight. Her dreams will sharpen. Her hunger for truth will deepen. Through it all, clarity will rise. The very clarity you have prayed for. Like light growing brighter as the day unfolds. She will not walk this path alone. The same God who carried you through hidden valleys now walks beside her. The same guardians who watched over you in unseen hours are now assigned to her journey. This is more than breakthrough. It is a birthing, a return to her truest self. When that self awakens, nothing remains unchanged. Some will be drawn toward the light she carries, while others will resist it and drift away. Allow it, because what lies ahead requires purity of space and alignment of spirit. It may move you to tears after years of praying, waiting, and holding hope. Let those tears come. Let joy rise with them, because what is unfolding is holy. You are not losing her. You are witnessing her emergence into fullness, a life no longer shrinking, no longer hiding, but breathing freely in purpose. As she rises, something within you will rise as well. A renewal of joy, a strengthening you thought long past, a stirring you have not felt in years. You will see that no delay, no detour, no tear was wasted. All of it led here. You are now tasting the harvest with your own eyes, the living evidence of your love and the answer to your prayers. This is legacy alive, heaven's response to years of unseen faithfulness, restoration unfolding into wholeness and victory shared between you. As this chapter opens, even your understanding of the past will shift. What once felt senseless or painful will reveal divine intention. Patterns will emerge where confusion once lived. What you believed were deviations were always pathways of destiny. Understand this deeply. Her rising is inseparable from your own. What is unfolding within her was never meant to stand alone, because it is intricately bound to the calling written over your life. This story was never only about her becoming something new. It has always been about the two of you growing, expanding and awakening together. Even the memories that once felt heavy, the quiet nights when words ran out, the seasons that resembled loss or failure, were never signs of breaking. They were sacred stretching, the necessary tension between two strong spirits sharing one unfolding purpose, each carrying a distinct assignment. Some breakthroughs required patience. Some seeds needed darkness before they could ever reach toward the sun. And now, the moment long awaited has arrived. Light is rising, not because of effort or striving, but because the time has come. Your daughter is stepping forward, not burdened by shame, but led by intention. When a soul begins to recognize itself through heaven's gaze, nothing can restrain it. Barriers that once refused her entry will no longer hold. Spaces that overlooked her will shift the moment she arrives. Voices that dismissed her will be silenced by the authority of her presence. This movement carries spiritual momentum, and it cannot be undone. You may feel wonder as you watch it happen, and perhaps even a tender ache as she grows beyond what your arms can contain. That feeling is not loss. It is love expanding. Connection is not weakening. It is deepening. You are stepping into a new kind of spiritual bond. This season is less about instruction and more about wisdom. She may no longer need your guidance in the same form, but your prayers, your voice, and your unwavering faith are more vital now than ever. You are not behind her. You are beneath her, steady and sure. Every step she takes is strengthened by what you poured into her long before she understood it. Some of her choices may surprise you. Others will feel like echoes of truths you always sensed. Remain open. Trust the unfolding. Beauty arrives precisely when it is meant to, and nothing matures outside of its proper hour. You do not need to control her journey. Your role is to breathe life into it, to reflect truth when she momentarily forgets, to stand as her reminder when the world attempts to blur her vision. Through her life, a generational calling is unlocking, Her elevation is not self-contained. It carries weight for those who will follow. Her story will speak healing. Her voice will offer direction. She will become a place of safety for the misunderstood, a light for those who have wandered too long in shadow, an answer to prayers whispered in secret. None of this is accidental, and none of it emerged in isolation. It flows directly from your faithfulness. You carried burdens unseen. You remained upright when surrender felt justified. You wrestled with doubt under the cover of night and still chose to stand. Now the promise of harvest is breathing life into those long seasons of endurance. What depleted you is returning as joy. What you carried alone is being multiplied through purpose. This is not only her breakthrough, it is your harvest as well. Perhaps you did not always have the tools you wished for. Perhaps support felt scarce, but you carried what mattered most, a faithful heart. And heaven always responds to the heart. That is why she will enter places you never reached. Stand in spaces your generation could only imagine. Not because you fell short, but because you prepared the ground so deeply that her roots could grow strong. You became the foundation, so she could become the future. As she rises, something within you will lift too. The weariness will loosen its grip. The pressure you've carried will ease, because when a generational chain breaks, freedom never belongs to one person alone. Laughter will return. Vision will awaken. Parts of you that went quiet under survival will breathe again. Joy is arriving now, not shallow happiness, but the deep kind that heals as it fills. This is the beauty of legacy. Not simply witnessing another flourish, but being restored alongside them. There will be moments when she opens herself in ways she never has before. Sharing fears, voicing doubts, revealing pain. Do not be afraid of these moments. They are not collapses. They are releases. She is not moving backward. She is shedding weight. Your presence during these times will matter more than you know. Release the need to hold everything together. Allow God to hold you both. You sowed in trust. And now the harvest is reaching into both of your lives in ways language can barely contain. This is more than an improved season. It is a divinely appointed one. There are few experiences as powerful as watching someone you love step fully into their calling. And when that soul is your daughter, the depth of it is almost beyond expression. You have been carrying more than parental responsibility. You have been bearing spiritual weight meant for generations. And now in this sacred moment, that weight is being exchanged for joy, movement, revelation, and legacy. Yes, there were days you believed you failed her. Days when exhaustion overtook strength. Days when unseen voices whispered that you were insufficient. But heaven witnessed your faithfulness in the midst of it all. You showed up anyway, and that persistence became extraordinary. That is why she is about to stand as a living sign, not only to you, but to every voice that doubted her potential. Even the soil of criticism will nourish her testimony. She will rise not to prove herself, but to honor the call placed upon her life. This season is not about seeking approval. It is about fulfilling what was spoken long ago. Soon you will notice the change. Her voice will carry weight. Her presence will shine with quiet authority. It will feel as though the world is finally recognizing what heaven placed within her from the beginning. She will become light impossible to conceal, guiding those who are lost, sheltering those who have been rejected, speaking for those who were silenced. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. It arrives now because both of you are ready. You endured the waiting. You remained faithful through confusion and silence. And now the reward has come. Restoration that reaches backward and forward. Legacy that breathes life into generations yet to come. This is sacred ground, and you were always meant to stand here together.